Got a clue? Get the blue.
Oh.
Viewers of the Kudlow Report know that I've been banging the drill drum for years, and I have not budged a bit. I say open up all available energy options. Oil, gas, nuclear, wind, solar, clean coal, you name it. Why am I telling you this? Because Brent crude prices recently surged well above $100 is the world's way of reminding us every flashpoint makes America vulnerable. And it doesn't even take into account the already insatiable appetite for oil. So joining me now is a very special guest. We welcome former Shell Oil President and CEO John Hofmeister. He's founder of Citizens for Affordable Energy. He's the author of Why We Hate the Oil Companies. Our market panel is still with us. Paul, great to see you. So I want to ask you this. You're predicting $5 a barrel. Is that right? If you are right, that is going to sink the recovery. That is going to sink the stock market. That is going to sink the whole ship. Why are we going to $5 a barrel at the pump?
It's a huge tax that we're putting on ourselves, Larry, because we're unwilling to drill our own oil in this country. Look, we've got political instability that's getting chaotic in the Middle East, and oil hates instability. Number two, China and the U.S. are in deep winter doldrums, and winter is supposed to be the period of low demand of oil. We're headed for spring, and while there is some inventory at the moment, that inventory is not that big, and it's going to be eaten up dramatically with any kind of economic growth, which we're experiencing. So those factors combined, I say we're right back in the 2007-2008 timeframe, and the U.S. is reducing its production by not drilling. It's absolutely absurd what we're doing to ourselves as a nation. OPEC looks at us and say, why don't you drill your own oil? Don't count on us to bail you people out.
John, does the new Republican Congress make any difference? Will they hold back the EPA? Will Washington hate oil a little less? Will Washington allow even more drilling of natural gas, which I think you would agree in the short run is really our best hope for cleaner burning fuel, with a lot of great potential there? Will Washington be more market friendly? I ask you.
I'm counting on it, Larry. The voters spoke last November. The direction we were going was unacceptable. People look at what's happening. They look at what they're paying at the pump. And who wants to pay $3.50, $3.65 in New York, which the prices are now? Who wants to pay $3.10 in rural America when there's no need for it? If we could produce our own oil. We used to produce 10 million barrels a day. And I've been all over the country saying, why don't we set a national goal to go back to 10 million barrels a day U.S. production? We're currently at 7. With the Gulf shut in, we're on our way to 6. We could create 3 million jobs, alleviate the pressure on global crude oil prices, and make sure that energy stays affordable because supply exceeds demand. That's a very simple formula.
All right, Tommy Blease, I want to go to you because I'm anointing you the country's greatest bull. You are surpassing Dr. Bob. You are surpassing everybody. So I want to ask you. You heard the distinguished gentleman from formerly surrounded Shell Oil. You heard him talk about $5 a gallon at the pump, okay? You heard him say that. What's your reaction? What would that do to your bullishness?
Well, John, I mean, Larry, I do agree with John's assessment that we have to drill more here in the States. There's no question about it. But let's look between 2004 and 2008. Oil went up over 300%, yet the S&P gained 50%. So now we're saying that gas is going to go up a merely 30%. It's going to hit the market. It just doesn't make sense.
Tommy Blease, you are smoking something. That $150 oil and that $4 plus gasoline so totally sank this economy. People that couldn't pay their mortgages at the margin couldn't pay them at all because all the money was going to the gas tank.
Let's not forget
this is an incredible thing. Keith McCullough, will you help him out for heaven's sakes? He's actually trying to tell me that John Hofmeister's scenario of $5 gasoline, the pump won't hurt? What is going on here?
It's smoking the wacky tobacco. I mean, this is what you need to do. You know, if you're really, like, we're long oil stocks, we're long Suncor, you know, we're even long Russian oil stocks, for God's sakes, at this point. $5 oil might be good for those positions, but it will not be good for the U.S. consumer, which is 70% of the economy. If you look at the consumer stocks already, Larry, year to date, the consumer sectors are the two worst performing sectors. You look at stocks like McDonald's, which is a pretty good bellwether of inflation and consumer traffic. You know, this stock's down 8% since the beginning of December.
Listen,
obviously, with the
oil
Oil prices are up 25% since QE2 started. You have heating oil up 40% right now. And guess what else is up? The stock market continues to rise. It's going to continue to rise. I think John is being kind with $5. I don't think it's going to do a thing to this economy. I think gas is going to continue to go even higher than $5 a gallon. And it probably will not impact anything to this economy, probably for a while, because guess why? The federal government continues to subsidize everything, including food in this country.
Well, including stupid ethanol, which is probably helping to drive up food prices and causing riots in Egypt. But John Hofmeister, I have to come back to you. John, you have to help me here. I'm actually hearing now that $5 gasoline at the pump is bullish. That's what I'm hearing, John. You have to help me out. What? I know you're an oil man, but you have good economic instincts. And I'm hearing now that higher oil and gasoline prices is great for the economy. You believe that? Do you buy that?
You know, if we just retrace history, when we got into the 2007, 2008, we were okay economically until we passed a certain point. The point that I remember so well was $3.87. And then the inventory on gasoline skyrocketed because people just stopped buying because they'd run out of money. There is a point at which people absorb, and it looks like everything's okay. And then suddenly you've got a tipping point. That tipping point sinks in, and everybody stops buying not just gas, but everything.
Well, what is that tipping point?
And Tommy Belisis, I just want to help you out of here, give you a chance to redeem yourself. In 2007, early 2008, the unemployment rate was 4.5 to 5%. Okay. Today, it's being scored at 9%. It's probably closer to 9.5. So I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. You don't really believe, you and Todd, that higher oil prices and gasoline, like you're talking, is going to be healthy for the economy. You can't possibly believe that. You do not want listeners and viewers to believe that you believe that. Is that right?
Let me tell you this. The financial crisis caused the problems in 2007, not the energy sector. Let's look at it like that. So, you know, consumers are going to pay more, that's true. However, remember, the U.S. has a huge energy sector. So higher revenues, more profits means more domestic spending here, more jobs created by these companies, which is better here. So I'm going to tell you, Larry, it's very bullish because people are going to adapt to it, and the market will go higher based on that. So I'm very bullish.
Let me add something to that as well, Larry, because when you think of higher oil prices, you know what happens? Research and development crews and a lot of these drilling companies,
exactly right.
All right.
That money is thrown back in.
Enough, though. I want Keith McCullough to take us out. Keith, take me with you. You have better tax and spending policy in Washington. Lower taxes, less spending could be good for the dollar, Keith. Would that put a lid on this oil bulge?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the strong dollar relieves a lot of problems, not the least of which are gas prices. And again, it's a good thing it's Friday night, because to have two guys sit here and say with a straight face that $5 at the pump is good.
Right.
You go back, and John nailed this.
Right.
At $150 on oil, U.S. consumption growth, which was positive for 13 years, stopped.
I got to get out. Very sensible stuff. Thank heavens for you guys. John Hofmeister, always great to visit with you. Todd Schoenberger, Keith McCullough, and Tommy Belisis. Thanks, everybody. Coming up on Kudlow, the country honors the 100th anniversary of President Ronald Reagan's birth. He's not only my hero, he's the country's hero.